In the heart of the galactic empire, on a world filled with silver towers and glowing trees, lived a royal family of the Alari species. The Alari were known for their beauty, long lives, and deep connection to sound and light. Among them was Princess Elaraya, the youngest daughter of Queen Thaliun and King Saren. But Elaraya was different. She was born blind when she first opened her eyes and saw nothing. The royal doctors called it a curse. Others in the court whispered that it was punishment from the stars. As Elaraya grew older, her family kept her hidden from the public. The galaxy praised the Alari as perfect beings, and a blind princess did not fit their image. Though she could not see, Elaraya was not weak. She learned to move with grace by listening to the sounds of the world around her. Her hands felt the shape of the wind, and her ears heard the tiniest vibration in a room. She read with her fingers, learned the languages of other species, and spoke with calm wisdom. Her tutors said she was one of the brightest minds in the palace. But none of that mattered when it came time for marriage. Princess Elaraya had reached the age where royal suitors came from far planets. 5 noble families were invited, each from powerful galactic species. The first declined after hearing of her condition. The second sent a polite letter saying, "Our heir seeks a queen with full abilities." The third came to the palace, took one look at her, and left without a word. The fourth and fifth didn't even reply. The royal court was silent after that. Some said it was time to hide her forever. Others thought she should be sent to a quiet planet to live in peace. Queen Thaliun did not agree, but even she did not know what to do. Meanwhile, far from the center of power, Earth had recently joined the Galactic Union. Humans were new to interstellar politics. Some species thought humans were too emotional, too curious, and too bold. But a few saw something in them: heart, courage, and strange strength. To the Great Galactic Peace Summit, Earth sent one of its young diplomats, a man named Liam. Liam wasn't high-born. He had no special powers. He wasn't a soldier or a scientist. He was just someone who believed in fairness. He had a calm voice, a kind face, and eyes that noticed things others ignored. When Liam arrived at the Alari Palace, he was stunned by its beauty. Floating gardens, whispering fountains, and soft music filled the halls. But what caught his attention most wasn't the gold or the technology. It was the silence behind a closed silver door guarded by 2 quiet warriors. He asked one of them, "Who lives there?" The guard hesitated, then said softly, "The princess, the one no one speaks of." "Why not?" "Because no one wants her." Liam frowned. "That's not a good reason." The guard said nothing more. Later that night, during the welcome dinner, Liam overheard whispers from other ambassadors. "The blind princess? Such a shame. Can you imagine a queen who cannot see her people? Poor thing. Better she stay hidden." Liam listened, then finally asked Queen Thaliun directly, "May I meet your daughter?" The room went quiet. The queen studied him. "No one has ever asked that before." Liam nodded. "I'd still like to." After a long pause, the queen said, "Very well. Tomorrow, in the moon garden." The next evening, under a dome of crystal stars, Liam entered the moon garden. The light was soft and blue. Flowers glowed gently, and a quiet breeze danced among the trees. There, sitting on a stone bench, was Elaraya. She wore a simple white gown. Her eyes were closed, but her head tilted toward the sound of his steps. "You walk like someone who's thinking," she said. Liam smiled. "I guess I am. Thinking if you should speak to me or leave." "How did you know?" Your steps slowed near the bench. Most people turn away." Liam sat down beside her. "I'm not most people." She gave a small smile. "You're human. How could you tell? Your breathing. It has a different rhythm." Liam laughed. "I didn't know breathing had accents." They talked for a long time. Not about politics, not about marriage, just about life. Liam told her how Earth smelled after rain, how music filled the streets of a city, how dogs ran in open fields chasing nothing but joy. Elaraya listened with interest, asking him questions. She told him how she remembered people by the sound of their voices and how she could hear the stars singing when the palace was quiet. Liam didn't treat her like a hidden secret. He treated her like someone worth knowing. When he stood to leave, Elaraya said softly, Thank you. For what? For speaking to me like a person? Liam paused. You are a person. A strong one. She tilted her head. Maybe. But you're the first to say so. As he left the garden, the stars above seemed to shine a little brighter. The next morning, Princess Elaria sat in her quiet room, her hands moving slowly across the soft cloth of her dress. She could still hear Liam's voice in her mind. The way he spoke to her had felt so normal, so easy, like they had known each other for years. He hadn't spoken with pity, and he hadn't tried to avoid the truth either. He just spoke. Outside her door, the palace was full of movement again. Royal visitors were busy preparing for the final day of the summit. Sounds of boots, floating chairs, and high-tuned machines filled the halls. But Elaria waited for just one sound, the soft and careful steps of the human. Liam walked toward her room again, not as a diplomat this time, but as a guest. A quiet message from Queen Thalion had invited him to spend another evening in the Moon Garden if he wished. Liam had not even hesitated. When he arrived at the garden, Elaria was already waiting. This time, she was holding a small round instrument, something like a crystal bowl. She tapped it with her fingers, and it gave off soft, ringing sounds. What's that? Liam asked. A voice of the stars, she said. When you tap it, it sings like the sky. Liam sat beside her. May I try? Only if you promise not to break it, she said with a small smile. He laughed and gently tapped the edge. The sound that came out was peaceful, like wind moving through a dream. I like it, he said. You know, on Earth, we have something similar called singing bowls. Really? Maybe your people are not as different as the galaxy thinks. Maybe we just listen to the same stars, Liam said. Their conversations became a regular thing. Each evening, while others debated in grand halls, the human and the blind princess met in the quiet garden. They talked about planets, stories, sounds, and dreams. Liam brought her small things from Earth, a piece of sea glass, a music box, and even a soft scarf that smelled of fresh pine trees. Elaria kept them close to her bed, her fingers memorizing each one. Soon, their friendship was no longer a secret, and not everyone was happy. In the royal halls, voices grew loud. A human sits with the princess? How strange. Does he think talking to her will make him a prince? Humans are too bold. This one oversteps. Some of the nobles tried to speak with Queen Thalion. They reminded her of tradition. They told her what the other species might think. But the queen only said, has she smiled like this before? Has she spoken this much in years? Others from the Galactic Council began to notice as well. One ambassador, a tall alien from the Zikri species, laughed loudly during a lunch meeting. I heard the blind one found a pet, he said. A human pet. Liam was walking past at that moment. He stopped, looked at the Zikri, and said calmly, she's more than you'll ever understand. The ambassador's laughter stopped. Later, Elaria heard what Liam had said. She sat in silence for a moment, then reached for the small crystal bowl and tapped it gently. The sound filled the room. You defended me, she said. Of course. Liam replied, you deserve it. No one ever has before. Liam sat down beside her. Then I guess I'll be the first. One evening, as they walked slowly through the garden, Elaria reached for Liam's arm. May I ask you something strange? She said. You can ask me anything. Do you think, if I wasn't a princess, just someone living on a small planet, and you met me the same way, would you still have wanted to talk to me? Liam looked at her. Even though she couldn't see him, she could feel the way the silence changed around his answer. Yes, he said. I would have sat beside you anyway. She smiled, her hand tightening slightly on his arm. Then I'm glad the stars brought you here. A few days later, Queen Thalion invited Liam to a private talk. The room was high above the palace, full of glowing lights and the sound of distant wind chimes. The queen stood near a large window, her silver robe flowing like water. You spent much time with my daughter, she said. Yes, your grace, and you care for her. I do. The queen turned to face him. Many see her blindness as a curse. You do not. No, he said firmly. I see her strength, her mind, her heart. And if I told you she was meant to be a leader someday? Liam nodded. Then she'll lead better than most rulers who can see. The queen studied him. Do you wish to ask for her hand? Liam didn't speak right away. He thought of Elaraya's laughter. The way she listened, the way she made him feel heard to. He thought of the nights in the garden, the sound of the stars, and the quiet strength in her voice. Yes, he said softly, but only if she wants it. The queen's lips curved into a small smile. A wise answer. That night, Elaraya sat in her room, holding the scarf Liam had given her. She could still smell the trees. Outside, the wind carried the soft notes of her singing bowl. She didn't know what would happen next. She didn't know if the galaxy would ever accept a blind princess marrying a human. But for the first time in her life, she didn't feel alone. The news spread quickly through the galaxy. Liam, the human diplomat, had asked for the hand of Princess Elaraya in marriage. The announcement caused a storm of reactions, from surprise to anger. Many nobles from different species whispered in the halls of power, calling the idea strange, even disrespectful. A human with a blind princess? They said, this will weaken the royal house. Others laughed, mocking the humans' courage or foolishness. The Galactic Council gathered to discuss the matter. Some demanded that the queen reconsider. Others warned Liam that humans did not understand the traditions of the stars. But in the Alari Palace, Queen Thalyun stood firm. She had seen her daughter's happiness for the first time in years. She remembered the quiet girl who once feared the world, and now smiled when she spoke of the human. I will support their choice. The queen declared, love and respect are greater than fear. Alara's closest advisor, a wise elder named Torn, visited her one afternoon. Princess, Torn said kindly, there will be many challenges ahead. Alara nodded. I am ready. You must prepare for the council and for the galaxy. Some will try to stop you. Let them try, she replied, her voice steady. Liam returned to the palace after hearing the queen's decision. He found Alara in the moon garden, sitting quietly. He approached carefully, not wanting to startle her. They are talking, she said, her fingers brushing the glowing petals nearby. Yes, Liam answered, some with kindness, many with doubt. Do you fear their words, sometimes? He admitted, but I believe in us. Alara smiled. I want to believe too. The two sat together in silence, feeling the peaceful night around them. Days later, the Galactic Council invited Liam and Alara to present their case. The great hall was filled with powerful leaders and curious eyes. Alara's steps were slow, but sure, guided by Liam's steady arm. When she spoke, her voice echoed with calm strength. I cannot see the stars with my eyes, but I feel their light within me. I have learned to trust my other senses, to listen and understand. Liam sees me not as a princess or a blind girl, but as a person. Together, we are stronger. Some in the council nodded, moved by her words. Others remained silent. Skeptical. Liam stood beside her and said, our union is not about politics or power. It is about respect and love. Humans may be new to this galaxy, but we believe in equality and courage. Elaraya is a leader not because of her sight, but because of her heart. After the speeches, the hall was quiet. Then slowly, applause began. Not all agreed, but some voices spoke in favor. Outside, reporters and citizens from many planets watched the news unfold. Some shared stories of their own struggles and hopes. Humans, once seen as outsiders, began to earn respect for their boldness and kindness. Back in the palace, Alara and Liam prepared for the upcoming wedding. It would be the first of its kind. A human and a blind alien princess united. But not all was peaceful. A group from a rival species, feeling threatened by the change, sent messages warning the queen to stop the union. They claimed it would bring chaos. One evening, a mysterious message arrived at the palace. Stop the wedding or face consequences. The queen read the message and did not show fear. Instead, she gathered her council. We will not bow to threats, she said firmly. Liam trained with the royal guards, preparing for any danger. Alara focused on her studies and the ceremonies ahead. Together, they faced the coming days with quiet courage. On a cool morning, Liam and Alara walked through the palace halls. He reached out and took her hand gently. Whatever comes, we face it together, he said. Lara squeezed his hand. Together. The day of the announcement arrived with bright sun shining over the Alari Palace. The halls were filled with nobles from many planets, ambassadors in shining robes, and curious onlookers. The news that Liam, a human, had proposed to Princess Elaraya was now the talk of the galaxy. As Liam stood before the Royal Council to make his request official, some faces showed surprise. Others doubt. Whispers passed through the crowd like quick fire. A human, a foreigner, and a blind princess? One noble whispered, "This breaks every tradition we hold," said another. But Liam's voice was steady. He spoke with respect and confidence. "I come not for power, nor for titles. I come because I see the princess as she is a strong, wise, and kind soul. Her blindness does not lessen her, it reveals her strength." He turned to Elaraya, who stood quietly beside him, her fingers touching a small charm he had given her. She smiled, feeling the warmth of his words even if she could not see his face. The queen watched silently, her heart full. When the crowd fell silent, she rose. "My daughter is not a symbol to hide or a weakness to fear. She is my child and a leader in her own right. If this union brings her joy, then I give my blessing." The council chamber erupted in murmurs, some shocked, some pleased. But the queen's words were final. Yet, not all accepted this change. Outside the palace, groups gathered. Some cheered for progress and love. Others protested the breaking of ancient laws. The rivalry between old and new ideas was fierce. One evening, a group of nobles confronted Liam in the palace gardens. "You dare to marry our princess?" Their leader hissed. "You are not worthy." Liam stood tall, calm but firm. "Worthiness comes from heart and respect, not blood or sight." The leader sneered. But before he could reply, Elaraya's voice came softly from nearby. "I choose him, not because he sees my eyes, but because he sees my soul." Her words silenced the group. They slowly backed away, realizing they could not break her spirit. Preparations for the wedding began. Elaraya learned to walk through the palace halls guided by Liam's steady hand. Together, they practiced the traditions of both their worlds. Liam studied the Alari customs, while Elaraya learned human songs through Liam's voice. The palace was filled with excitement and tension. Many awaited the wedding as a sign of hope, while others waited to see if it would bring disaster. On the eve of the wedding, Elaraya sat alone in the moon garden. She held the scarf Liam had given her and touched the small charm on her wrist. Liam approached quietly. "Are you ready?" he asked softly. "I am," she replied. "But I still wonder what the galaxy will think. Some will understand, others may not. But together, we will face whatever comes." He took her hand and they stood beneath the stars. The soft glow of the garden wrapped around them like a shield. When the wedding day arrived, the palace was decorated with lights and flowers from many worlds. Guests from across the galaxy gathered to witness history. The ceremony blended traditions. Elaraya's people sang ancient songs of the stars. Liam's people shared blessings of Earth. When they exchanged vows, Liam promised to always respect and cherish Elaraya, no matter the challenges. Elaraya promised to lead with strength and wisdom, alongside Liam. As they stood together, a new light seemed to fill the room, not just from the decorations, but from hope. The marriage was more than a union of two people. It was a message to the galaxy that love could cross differences, that strength came in many forms, and that no one should be judged by what they cannot see. After the ceremony, the celebrations were joyful. Even some who once doubted joined in the dancing and laughter. The story of the blind alien princess and the human diplomat became a legend, told across star systems as a sign of change. And through it all, Liam never saw Elaraya as blind. He saw the light she carried inside. The days after the wedding were filled with hope and joy, but also new challenges. Though many celebrated the union of Liam and Princess Elaraya, some in the galaxy could not accept it. The rival species, who had warned the queen before, grew louder in their protests. They claimed that the marriage would bring chaos to the galactic order. Messages of anger and threats reached the palace. One morning, Liam received a message from the Galactic Council. Your marriage is being questioned. Some demand that it be annulled. Liam read the message carefully. He knew this was only the beginning of a greater test. He went to Elraya and said, they want us to stop, but I won't let fear rule us. Elraya nodded. We must show them our strength, not just with words but with actions. The Queen gathered her advisors. She decided that Elraya and Liam would visit the council to speak again. This time with proof of their worth, Liam and Elraya traveled to the Great Hall, where leaders from many planets waited. This time, they brought stories and examples of how love and respect could change the galaxy. Alara spoke first. I was told that blindness was a weakness, but it made me listen, learn, and understand in ways others do not. Liam saw me as a whole person, not just a princess or a blind girl. Together, we are stronger. Liam added, humans believe that courage comes from standing up for what is right. This marriage is a symbol of that courage. After their speeches, a leader from the Zikri species stood. Your words are strong, but how do we know your union will protect the galaxy? Alara smiled. Because we listen, because we care, because love is the greatest power. Slowly, the council began to change. Some who had doubted now spoke in favor. Others stayed silent, unsure. Outside the hall, people cheered. Across many planets, humans and Alari shared stories of hope and new beginnings. But danger still lurked. One night, as Liam walked near the palace gates, he was stopped by strangers. They warned him to leave or face consequences. Liam did not run. Instead, he called the palace guards. The Queen acted quickly. She sent messengers to allies, asking for support. The galaxy watched closely as the palace stood firm against threats. Alara stayed by Liam's side. She held his hand and whispered, we are not alone. Their love had become a beacon of strength. It showed that differences could unite rather than divide. As time passed, more species began to accept the marriage. They saw how Liam and Elraya led with kindness and wisdom. The story of the blind alien princess and the human diplomat was told. In schools, homes, and starships, it reminded everyone that courage and love could change the galaxy. And Liam? He always saw Elraya not as blind, but as the brightest star in the sky. The galaxy had never seen a union like this before, the marriage of a blind alien princess and a human diplomat. As time passed, their love and leadership began to change hearts and minds across star systems. Princess Elraya and Liam worked side by side to bring peace and understanding. They traveled to distant planets, listening to stories, solving problems, and building friendships. One day, they visited a world known for its harsh deserts and proud warriors. The leaders there were skeptical of humans and cautious about the Alari, but when Elraya spoke, her calm voice and honest words touched many hearts. We are not so different, she said. We all seek respect and kindness. Liam added, our differences make us stronger, not weaker. Slowly, the desert leaders began to trust them. This was only one of many successes that showed the galaxy that change was possible. Back home, the Queen watched her daughter with pride. Elraya had grown from a hidden princess into a strong leader. Her blindness did not stop her, it shaped her. In the Royal Council, Liam's ideas brought fresh hope. He spoke of fairness and courage, encouraging others to open their minds. But the greatest change was in the people. Stories of the marriage spread across the stars. Inspiring young and old alike, children on distant planets learned that being different was not a weakness, but a gift. Aliens who had once looked down on others began to see them as equals. New friendships formed and old rivalries faded. One evening, as Liam and Elraya stood on the balcony of their palace, looking at the stars, Liam took her hand. Do you remember when we first met? He asked. Elraya smiled, her fingers brushing. I was afraid the galaxy would never accept me, but we proved them wrong. Because you saw me, she said softly, and I always will. They watched the stars together, knowing their journey was just beginning. Their love had changed the galaxy, and it would shine as a beacon for generations to come. Princess Elaraya was no longer hidden. She was a queen who led with strength, wisdom, and love. And Liam, he was proud to walk beside her, seeing her light brighter than any star.